Wrapping it up on sportsBIT, betting inside today, Pauly and Teddy. Time for the deep dive. Saturday on CBS. I don't know how many people knew about this, but college basketball, you're not college football. For the most part, fans don't tune in till March. It is a 2 or 3 week sport. That's the unfortunate reality as the casual fans come in, and certainly nothing better than the first 4 days. But February, it's like football's over. You got to you wait till the madness begins. But they came out with the top 4 seeds in all 4 regions. If the tournament started Saturday, the big surprise to me was Gonzaga they were the last number 1 seed, and they also were on national television later that night. They went out and destroyed St. Mary's again. They are now 26-0 with a 90% chance to run the table. 3 of their final 4 games are at home, so an excellent chance they would be 33-0 going into the actual tournament. Seth Greenberg made a good point that all these teams are going to lose around them, so they still should be able to get a number 1, no problem. But I was still surprised with a win over Arizona, Tennessee, and Florida that the last 1 seed, Teddy, even though undefeated.
Well, they're never going to make it easy for teams like Gonzaga. They never have. And the reason they don't is because the NCAA makes more money from the Kentuckys and the North Carolinas and the Indianas of the world than they do from the Gonzagas of the world. And it's just that simple. So never forget that this amateur athletic organization, the NCAA, is designed to make money. And when you make money, that means the mid-majors get shafted. And they do every year, and Gonzaga's getting shafted here. I'm with you. Again, I don't care what the committee says. The committee is a bunch of idiots. Pardon my language. I guess that's not really an inappropriate way of saying it. But I should have said it a lot more inappropriately than that. When you want to know who's good in college basketball, you look at the advanced metric numbers. And you have 2 sets to choose from. And they're both very, in terms of the listings of the teams, they're very comparable. You can go to Ken Palm at kenpalm.com. You can go to Jeff Sager and you can find his stuff at USA Today or somewhere. If you Google him, you can find it without a problem. Those numbers will tell you who's good and who isn't based on all the advanced metrics. And what do they say? Clearly, both polls, Gonzaga the number 1 team in the country. So, and watching them beat St. Mary's on Saturday night, that was pretty impressive, Pauly. They looked really good.
Yep, other surprises, Butler of 4. They have a great resume. Remember, they beat Arizona in the non-conference earlier in the season. That surprised me. I thought they'd be a little higher. Of course, then they went out Saturday and got beat. And also UCLA, a 4 seed, which that is a talented team. And to see, I would want to play them in the second round. Holy cow.
Yeah, but again, when you look at the advanced metric numbers, Butler's not in the top 20. So you say you thought they should be higher. In my opinion, I think they should be lower, and especially after losing on Saturday. And of course, these numbers are up to date following the end of yesterday's game. But games, when you look at the Pac-12, and again, all I care about is the advanced metric numbers. When you look at the Pac-12 and the advanced metric numbers, I kind of think they're getting short. They're getting shafted a little bit. We talk about UCLA as a 4. Where's Oregon on this list?
They were a 2, I believe.
Right. When it comes to the Pomeroy ratings, Oregon's sitting outside the top 15 right now, which stands out to me as someone that's maybe being a little bit undervalued. But the biggest story of all, of course, is the Big Ten, Pauly.
How about that? Shut out? A lot of people couldn't believe that.
I would think Wisconsin lost yesterday at home to Northwestern. You make a case, but even with the loss, Wisconsin's still the 15th team in the country, according to the Palm numbers. Purdue's a team that has to be there. And Maryland's another team that I think has to be there. I'm a little bit surprised by the committee's lack of respect for all those squads, but Purdue in particular. Why aren't the Boilermakers getting love? Is it a straight-up loss kind of a thing?
I don't know. I can't tell you what these guys do. After what they did last year to the little guy. Let me ask you this. So you're saying lack of respect for the Big Ten, and certainly you're right. I think we're overdoing it with the ACC. 10, 11 teams coming from one conference? Come on now.
Well, when you look at the top, when you look at the top 16 teams, and the ACC gets 5 of them, 3 for the Pac-12, 3 from the Big 12, 2 from the Big East, 2 from the SEC, and then of course you have Gonzaga coming from the West Coast Conference. Again, you're always going to get the ACC love. Why? The ACC's got the biggest coaches. The ACC's got the biggest names. The ACC is on TV more than any of the other conferences. Therefore, you're going to get the level of respect for the ACC that you don't get. But, in my mind, you don't want to penalize a team because they play in a tough conference. Say, all right, well, we already let 9 other teams from the ACC in. Therefore, you can't let the 10th in. I'm not buying that. But What I want to know is where's the mid-major love, man? I mean,
nothing. Yeah,
you know,
it's another
where's
horrible
Wichita
year.
State? Okay, where's Wichita
let me jump
State?
in. Let me jump in. Last year was total bullshit. What they did last year was a disgrace. They didn't let any of these little guys get in. The Monmouth snub, there were plenty of snubs there where they didn't put the little guy in. But you look at, there's not much there, Teddy. When we do the Google Hangout, we talked about NC Wilmington. They've lost 3 times now. Belmont got beat over the weekend. Akron had a loss. Middle Tennessee got beat, I think, a week ago. So there is nothing. You look, and Joe Lenardi, who's the so-called expert that does this for ESPN, when you see the last teams that are in, last 4 buys, first 4 that just missed, and the last 4 out, there's one mid-major. 15 are from power conferences. It might be the worst year ever for the little guy. And part of the why we like the first 4 days, the big upsets. Can you get a Gulf Coast, a Princeton, etc.? But I mean, they're going to get in with the automatic bid. But as far as at-large bids, you're right, not going to happen.
So let me ask you this, Pauly. You know, we're looking at the teams. We obviously have a disparity in how the teams are graded and how they're ranked. But my biggest question, any way to make money off of this? Especially when we're looking at the disparity between where the teams are ranked versus where they are in terms of the advanced metric numbers?
I know it worked a couple of years ago in college football. If you took the biggest gap between the polls and the power rankings and bet on the power rankings, you made money. So that's something we should look forward to the next couple of weeks. And I think you're onto something there. It did work in college football a while back. And I think when you look, throw out the computers and what they do with the committee now. But I think if there's a sizable gap there, for example, like a Butler, I think he can take advantage of it.
A team that you might be able to make some money betting against as opposed to betting on.
Hey guys, for the full video, go to sbrpicks.com.
Do your research before you bet. Check out our ratings guide to see which books have the best ratings and sign-up bonuses. Open up several accounts and shop for lines at sbrodds.com. Always be ahead of the game.